Good morning. My name is Nelson Sims. Chris Street asked that I give the congregation an overview of where we are with the construction of the new chapel and fellowship center to date. I'll be glad to do that, so let's get started. I want to start in the Command Central office, and that'd be the Villar Hornack, our construction company's office. The back left is Michael. He's the project manager. He makes sure everything is underway on time and on schedule. In the front is David. David is over on the chapel building site literally 12 hours a day, making sure that everything's done right to the highest quality. And then our project engineer is Nicholas over on the far right, and he's the one that's providing all the aerial photographs. They're a great team, and we are very pleased. So that takes us to the front view of a rendering of the new chapel. It's going to be a beautiful facility. It's in Keys style. You can see the three windows in the front are the three Christian windows with the steeple and the cross above. As you go right and left from the front of the chapel, you'll see 5 windows on each side representing the 10 Commandments, and that's the sanctuary inside there. As you move to the left, you'll see the front entrance for the Ocean Reef Drive entrance. And then behind that is a cornerstone with the Jewish Star of David on the top of it, and their meeting room will be right inside there. So let's take a look from 2 different views of what the floor plan looks like. First will be a rendering of the floor plan, which I'll quickly go over the spaces in the chapel. As you come in the Ocean Reef Drive entrance to the top, you can follow the arrow. In the first left door is Fellowship Hall, which is a very versatile room. It has a folding door divider in the middle, and it goes in that space in the back. The rooms can be separately, or you can open it up and use one great big room. In fact, you can put round tables in there and seat 100 people for a dinner. But you can see in the top left is the bema, which will be the focal point of a Jewish service. And this will be the room with 5 beautiful windows to the north in the fellowship hall. As you go to the right, you can see that the kitchen, we have a large kitchen, much larger than we've ever had before. It's quite useful. It's a warming kitchen, so we will have to cater or bring food in, and then it can be warmed rather than cooking everything in it, but it's a beautiful space. And as we come around, you'll see that emblem in the middle of the narthex floor, and I'm going to address that again in just a moment. But those doors go out to the chapel garden, which again we'll address in a moment. So let's continue all the way around the hallway. There's storage areas on the left, and then you see again on the left a men's bathroom and a woman's bathroom. You come by the boardroom, which all 4 congregation boards can meet in and have a good place to plan their future, as well as the chapel board will meet in there as well. And then you come to the administration area, which if you go to the back of it, it's the Reverend Dr. Bob Henley's office, our chaplain in resident. The center room is for a workspace, and then the front area is an administration room where will kind of be command central for the facility during the day. Now, as we go across the hallway from administration, you'll see a living room, which we've never had a room for our ministerial leaders to work with families in need, with families planning, with individuals that need counseling, etc. So a really nice area that people can use. Go across the hall and there's a bridal preparation room for last minute touches that they need before the wedding. You keep going around to the children's room, which has a bathroom too, but that's a room that could be used when you want children in a quiet space during service in the sanctuary. Go across from, or just continue on from the children's room as you see a small office, and that is for our leaders for music. Then we'll go into the sanctuary, and you can see it's in the semi-round, a large stage. It's got a sacristy at the back for the religious leaders to prepare for services. Now let's, rather than just look at the rendering of it, let's see where are we with construction for these spaces as you can see now. And as you drive by, I'm sure you've seen that the windows have now been shaped out. We're pouring concrete, in fact, today to fill in the spaces around the 10 Commandment windows. And you can see all the walls up for the rooms and the spaces that I described on the previous slide. So now let's go into a rendering for the sanctuary. This is what the end product will look like. Some differences in the shade of the paint on the wall. They look a little yellow, they won't be, but it is going to be a beautiful room. So light woods on the floor and the ceiling that match, great beams, and then all of the furniture on the stage as well as the pews are going to be a beautiful walnut made by a very, very, very good pew company in Pennsylvania. You can see the big walnut structure in the back is called a reredos, and above that is a window frame that's exactly the same size as the window was in the old chapel. And it's the same cross with an updating, but the same cross of thorns that you will enjoy. It's going to be a beautiful room. We've tried to manage the acoustics the best we possibly could. We have a firm that specializes in acoustics, and in fact they did the Miami Symphony Hall, so they will stick with us until the acoustics of this room they're world class and they're just right. So the next slide is a view of the construction from an aerial drone shot, and you can take the rendering of the sanctuary that I just showed you, and you can see where we're coming with the construction. And the Ten Commandment windows are going up. In fact, again, as I said, they're being poured today, but great progress in the development of the building. The next slide is a rendering of the hallway, or the narthex, in the sanctuary, or excuse me, in the Chapel Fellowship Center. And the white doors are the doors that open up to the center hallway into the sanctuary. The stairways that go up, which will be highly used for sure for photographs from weddings, for families, etc. But that goes up to a balcony that can be used for overflow if needed in the sanctuary. There's also an emblem that you can see the bottom of it, the circular, and we'll go to the next slide to show you what that emblem is going to look like. And it's just going to be an emblem to illustrate we are one community here at Ocean Reef. We have 4 congregations that use this chapel. It is known now as the Ocean Reef Chapel and Fellowship Center because it's so much more than just a sanctuary. And of course it has the 4 symbols of the 4 congregations. We think it'll be beautiful. So that brings us to the rear view of the chapel, and this is a rendering of what we'll call the terrace garden. If you looked at there's a little water feature in between the terrace garden and a small garden over to the left called the memorial garden. And on the next slide, I'll show you the memorial wall that will be in that garden, but this is going to be a beautiful space, terrace garden, to use for outside after service events, whether it's coffee, soft drinks, donuts, a place to mingle with your fellow congregation members. And that takes us to the final slide, which is actually a slide of where are we with this back garden, both terrace and memorial. And you can see where the arrow is, that's going to be the memorial wall, and that will be a small area again, where a very reverent area where we will recognize people that have passed. And then, of course, the large area, which is in development for the terrace garden. So to end this presentation, I'm pleased to tell you that we are on schedule and we're on budget. I can tell you that we are most grateful for all of our donors to date. We're very pleased and very comfortable with where we are to date. We're not quite at our target, but we're sure we're going to get there. If you have not donated yet, we'd ask that you go to orcchapel.org. There's all the information you need there to help you with a donation. If not, you can certainly call one of us that are on the Capital Campaign Committee. Thank you.